Whose house is this?
It's the day that will go down in history. A massive crowd waving signs, teachers yelling their frustrations, and even silent protesters. It's just the first day of a statewide teacher walkout.
You shouldn't have to be here asking the people in here to do their jobs.
Thousands rally at the Capitol with one thing in mind, education. But what comes next?
Lawmakers react to people flooding the Capitol, where educators are doing everything they can to get the point across.
We shall not be moved.
This is a copy of my textbook. I have to be careful because I have to give it back when we go back to school. This is from 2006, and still to this day, I'm learning from it.
She also said it was held together by tape. It's history in the making. Tens of thousands of people have been at the Capitol demanding more for education funding and for teacher raises. Teachers we spoke with today say this is something worth fighting for. We have team coverage from the Capitol and here in Green Country. My co-anchor Mark Bradshaw joins us now live from the area where teachers have been rallying. Mark?
Nearly the grounds of the state capitol empty tonight, but this teacher rebellion will continue in the morning. Earlier today, this morning, this was an incredible scene here. Thousands of teachers demonstrating here from all over the state. One thing in mind, their basic message, education funding. From the teacher, the arts teacher I talked to from Tulsa Elementary School, who said he pays for all of his supplies, to the state school superintendent, Joy Hoffmeister, when I asked her, are you concerned if this walkout goes on too long, the public opinion will erode for the teachers? She said her main concern is the students. Let me bring in Channel 8's Bert Momolo now. And Bert, one thing that we saw today, that the message was from, they were cheering, they were chanting, they're marching, anyway to get their message across. But you found another way that they're telling lawmakers they mean business.
Mark, leave it to teachers to come up with very engaging, creative, and biting ways through signs to drive home their point.
Are you doing everything to keep Oklahoma strong?
If the size of the crowd wasn't a sign in itself of how seriously the topic of education funding has become, the individual signs drove home the point. I mean, it's funny, but it's sad at the same time.
It is very sad, and, you know, I'm a second-year teacher, and there's a lot of my peers that are still in school that are, you know, do I stay here in the state? Do I go away to Texas, something else? And, you know, this hits home right here. I'm waiting because I don't want to leave.
Remember, Walter White is a unpaid teacher.
Chicota's not too far from Poto, and that's where Carrie Underwood's from, and she's given a lot of money to her school district where she grew up, and we don't have that. We don't have an American Idol from Poto, so we thought it would be fitting to say, you know, don't count on celebrities to fund our schools.
I think teachers really deserve like more money because my mom is a teacher and she's just like, she's struggling and stuff at home.
We need to find that money so that our kids have a better future, that our students have a better future, and that we basically get that money back.
If you don't get the picture of the little people who will be here one day or educators one day, then you won't ever get it.
Politicians and diapers have one thing in common. They should both be changed regularly for the same reason.
All right, Mark, and that last sign really kind of drives home some of the animosity that's going to be percolating from here on out, because everybody expected today to happen. But as we go to day 2, 3, 4, that's really going to be a test of wills on either side.
I don't think you or I have seen this many, a sea of teachers like this before. It'll be interesting to see how many show up tomorrow.
Yeah, how many decide to go out and how many call in sick to shut down those schools to keep classes out even longer.
All right, thank you, Bert. All right, so one thing, this walkout, as long as it goes here, it's disrupting for parents, what to do with their kids, how to feed their kids. Coming up, we're going to talk about one organization that's helping out to feed the kids during this walkout. We don't know if it's going to be a few days or a couple weeks. We'll have more on that coming up a little later. Neely.
Mark, Bert, thank you both. Lawmakers definitely heard the message today. Several teachers paraded through the Capitol, going straight to lawmakers' offices. While the ones we spoke with say they support more funding, that's not the problem.
But where do you get the money from? Every time we do any kind of revenue-raising bill, We have to take that money from somewhere. It's got to come from someone.
Some pushed to a vote on a bill that would have given more than $100 million in education funding, but it didn't get the support needed for a vote today. They rather pushed for that vote to happen. While thousands of teachers rallied in Oklahoma City, not all schools were closed today. Our team coverage continues as Channel 8's Maureen Wartz joins us now live in Depew, where teachers voted not to participate in the walkout, but say that doesn't mean they don't support the movement. Maureen.
Nayeli, Depew is the perfect example of small town Oklahoma. Life's a little bit slower here, but even a town like this is not immune to the serious discussions that we're having talking about education. But the question on everyone's mind, how do we support teachers and students? Do we walk out or stay in school like they did today? And when we spoke with folks around town, they realized it's not really a straightforward answer. It's a small town literally on the other side of the railroad tracks off of Route 66. Everything about the school day at Depew Public Schools was perfectly normal, except for the fact that the school day happened at all.
Our teachers really are making the school the school. Those classroom teachers are the backbone.
Superintendent Leon Hyatt says teachers voted to stay open today after Governor Fallin signed the new teacher raise last week. But it's put Depew in a tough spot. Just because they decided to stay open doesn't mean they aren't supporting the schools that walked out.
I bet they're still going to take the raise. Well, that's kind of a backhanded thing to say because, yeah, they're going to take it.
Staying open or walking out.
They're crucial.
Eric Blaze says he'll support the teachers either way. Would you support them if they ended up wanting to walk out then?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They keep making it about the teachers. It's about the kids. I mean, if their education is in jeopardy.
Bill Wilhelm, who was born and raised in Depew, says money talks.
They're not getting paid the money that they should be being paid.
For these folks, supporting the school system isn't just a hot topic, but a long-term promise.
At least as long as my kids are in school, you know.
But what does that support look like? In Depew, they've answered that question, keeping the school open. But even then, it's not always as straightforward as it seems. Now, I spoke with teachers at Depew at length today. They didn't want to go on camera, and here's why. It's kind of they're in a hard place because they say, hey, if we were happy that school was open, they'd be concerned that it didn't look good to their colleagues down in Oklahoma City. And if they said, hey, we wanted the schools to be closed, they would be worried that it would look like they were greedy and wanted more taxpayer money. So they just told us it was just really challenging that for them to kind of speak either way. Live in Depew, Maureen Wartz, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Maureen, thank you. New at 6, Jinx schools among many closed again tomorrow for the walkout. Channel 8's Amy Jensen met with parents and students about their thoughts and how long they'll support their kids not in school.
I've basically always wanted to be a teacher. These days, that phrase is hard to come by in Oklahoma. I love kids, and I really like to teach things to people. While teachers rallied at the Capitol today, 9th grader Gabrielle Vargas helped load and deliver food to students who needed it. If the teacher walkout is a success, it'll help all my teachers and ultimately help herself. Right now, I think the biggest classroom I have has 30 kids. And so I don't really get the one-on-one time I had when I was younger. A huge problem for Gabby's mom, Amy Vargas.
That is such a disservice to our kids. Because
she wants 100% commitment in the classroom.
I support the teachers' walkout until legislators find a plan that funds public education and funds the classroom.
These same problems today are some of the reasons why Vargas left teaching years ago.
When I left teaching at 10 years experience and a master's degree, I made $35,000.
It's why she's pushing her daughter toward another career path.
It scares me because I need her to be able to support herself.
This makes me really sad because I know that if my mom was a teacher and my dad didn't have that job that he does have, we could end up going to the food bank. Gabby's begging legislators to fund her school, her teachers, and her dream of becoming a teacher. Amy Jensen, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Now, this isn't just an issue teachers are taking to Oklahoma City. Several schools are rallying in our community. Continuing our team coverage, Channel 8's Lauren Partain live in Broken Arrow, where parts of 71st Street have been lined with people holding signs and demanding action. Lauren?
Neely, the honking and support continues this afternoon, but things are wrapping up. We're seeing less teachers, but they've been out here since about 7:30 this morning with their signs asking for lawmakers to make changes. Now, we saw teachers, students, and parents from Broken Arrow Union and even Tulsa Public Schools out here lining the street from 71st, 145th, all the way to Memorial. Now, despite the recent deal the governor signed to give teacher raises, they say this is about funding education. And if they can't be at the Capitol, they will be here all week.
We're not out here advocating for teacher raises. We get what we get on that, which we're very grateful for. Today and for the rest of the week, we are here for education funding. We need more money inside the school.
Well, they invite everyone to show their support, whether that's by honking or bringing a sign and standing out here. Now, I spoke with one little girl about why she wants lawmakers to find the money to fund schools. I'll have her story coming up tonight at 10. Reporting live in Broken Arrow, Lauren Partain, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Lauren, thank you. In Bartlesville, not everyone could go to the Capitol, but educators rallied regardless, forming a picket line downtown. Those teachers had a lot of people honking in support and a few people shouting harsh words of disapproval. Inside St. Luke's Church, they called lawmakers, made signs, and watched live coverage of the rally in Oklahoma City.
We know we're doing a lot here because we started about 5 weeks ago to get ready. Once we heard there was going to be a strong possibility of a school suspension and a walkout, we knew we needed to get the resources together to, first of all, make sure our kids were taken care of. That was priority number one. And the second thing was make sure our teachers were taken care of.
Bartlesville says they're ready for the long haul if the statewide walkout continues into the next several days. And they're not the only ones. We've got a full list at K2L.com showing which schools are open and which are closed. Be sure you check it out. It's updated daily and hourly if need be. Now, this historic walkout doesn't show any signs of stopping. And as my co-anchor Mark Bradshaw will tell you, many in our community say they're coming together to help both teachers and students. Mark?
Hi there, Neely. Day one of this teacher walkout and demonstration of the state capitol is now over. This demonstration, this walkout is causing a big inconvenience for a lot of parents. When we come back, what one organization is doing to help feed the kids. During this walkout, and we don't know how long this walkout's going to last, many parents have been frantically trying to find out how to feed their kids. Today, the Food Bank of Eastern Oklahoma is doing their part to help out. Channel 8's Ethan Hutchins has that story.
How many do I need there, kiddos?
On a cold day like today, a hot meal can mean everything, especially when these meals may be the only food these kids get.
Do y'all wish y'all was in school today, or are you happy to be out of school?
Today, these trucks travel to 9 different spots in Tulsa, parking and providing lunch to families like Clarissa Smith's.
It's really a blessing for them to come out here and help to feed all children.
Smith and her daughter Wisdom live off South 107th East Avenue. She says for her, this statewide teacher walkout feels like a bad dream.
Right now, I'm still in denial. It's actually a walkout, and I'm still really shocked, what's going on in this crazy world.
Free lunch today for the kids.
But make no mistake, she does support the teachers protesting. Her apartment was the first on the food truck tour. The Food Bank of Eastern Oklahoma hoping to serve more than 900 kids today. And this is the food they're serving. They've got some chicken teriyaki, rice, and some Rice Krispie treats. Chef Jeff Marlowe and his team started prepping Thursday, and with TPS closed Tuesday, they'll be out here again tomorrow.
While this walkout's going on, these kids, they still need to eat. It's not their fault, and it's not the teacher's fault.
This has been a situation the organization has been preparing for, stocking their shelves at the warehouse for weeks.
The reality is it's probably the only meal that they are getting.
Right now, these trucks will be out from 10:30 until 2 during the week. Tomorrow, they'll serve pizza, salad, oranges, and a special treat. In Tulsa, Ethan Hutchins, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Yeah, feeding the kids a big concern. There are other food bank locations around Green Country where you can pick up some food. We have a link to those on our website. Just go to K2L.com. This is the end of day one of the walkout, and we'll have a complete wrap-up tonight at 10 o'clock. Live in Oklahoma City, Mark Bradshaw, Tulsa's Channel 8.